Member for Melbourne.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm pleased that we're finally having a discussion about transport and congestion in Melbourne in this place. I won't be supporting the motion, but it's well overdue that we had a discussion about the issue. On any given morning during the working week, if you look down the Eastern Freeway, you will see two things. One is you will see cars backed up bumper to bumper, and you'll see something very similar along Alexandra Parade or going down Hoddle Street. The second thing that you'll see, Mr Deputy Speaker, is a great swathe of green land down the middle of the Eastern Freeway heading out. Now, that land was reserved almost 20 years ago for a rail line out to Doncaster. If you can get your hands on a copy of the 1980 Melways, you will find in that Melways stops marked out along the route that was meant to be for a rail line out to Doncaster. That has never been built. Successive state, Labor and Liberal governments have promised it and never delivered on it. And as a result, the people who live on the eastern suburbs either side of that Eastern Freeway have no real public transport option to get to work. And as a result, we see it every morning in my electorate on Hoddle Street and on Alexandra Parade and on the Eastern Freeway. If we are serious about fixing congestion in Melbourne, the first step should be to build that rail line out to Doncaster. And the second step should then be to supplement that by building the Metro Rail project. Because what common sense and reason, but also every study that's been conducted shows, is that most of those people who are coming in from the east don't want to go west. As good as the west is, that's not where they're wanting to go. They're wanting to come into the city. They're wanting to come into the city to go to work. They're wanting to come into the city to study or for other reasons. And so what do? They come down Hoddle Street, they come down Alexandra Parade, or they take the rat runs through other parts of our electorate. So this idea of an east-west link, that there's somehow some massive east-west unmet demand from cars that are coming in, is just a furphy. People are wanting to come into the city. And so what the proposal for an east-west tollway will do, which was first floated by the state Labor government and now has got legs from the federal opposition, all that will do is increase congestion in the inner city of Melbourne. It will turn the electorate of Melbourne into a rat's nest of on and off ramps, and it will do nothing to relieve congestion and allow people to spend more time with their family or more time at home. And one of the best ways that we could free up space on our roads for light commercial freight to get around is to get people out of the cars and into trains, into a train coming down the Eastern Freeway into a metro rail. But because of that lack of vision, we now have the very real prospect that one of the things that makes Melbourne such a great place to live is about to be wrecked. Now, I know for many of the people sitting here in this chamber or elsewhere, the inner suburbs of Melbourne are just a place you go through on your way somewhere else. But for us, it is where we live. And people are sick of the congestion and want to see effective public transport in Greater Melbourne, because they know that the alternative of building more roads is just building more traffic jams. And we have seen that with every proposal that's come into Melbourne that's been supposed to solve some kind of congestion. Building more roads to cure congestion is like loosening your belt to cure obesity, Mr Deputy Speaker. All it will do is extend the traffic jams further and further. Now, the people of Melbourne and those public transport advocates have been fighting this proposal for years. We first heard it floated by the Labor Party in Victoria. Then, when they faced such stiff opposition, they adopted some kind of middle position in the lead-up to the last state election. And now we're seeing it coming up again. Now, I congratulate the government for committing to Melbourne Metro Rail, but what I am concerned about, and I think it's a very good initiative and one that's been pushed for some time, $3 billion, a very worthy investment. But what I'm worried about is this, Mr Deputy Speaker. If the polls are right at the moment and we have a change of government, come September, there is a very real risk that that Melbourne Metro Rail project, which is the #1 priority identified by Infrastructure Australia, where this east-west link doesn't even make the list at all because there's not even a business case for it, I'm very worried that we will not see it built. And so earlier today I introduced into the House of Representatives a bill that would Abbott-proof the inner-city suburbs of Melbourne and ensure that Melbourne Metro Rail gets funded first before we fund east-west. And I hope that the government, having taken the first step to build Melbourne Metro Rail, also gets behind the bill, because I am very worried that we are yet to find out Labor's true position on the East-West link.
Order. I call the honourable